Well, I've been planning this spring to do the Three Sisters planting, one of our native North American culture traditional garden planting. The Three Sisters are corn, squash, and beans. You plant a squash plant, a corn plant, and bean seeds in the same little hill. And the beans grow up the corn stalk, and the squash plant, of course, with its big leaves, shades out the weeds on the ground. So now, the more I think about it, I'm going to do it as my attempt at a kind of permaculture or lazy man's gardening, so you don't have to do any weeding. So I thought I'd do this little update on my YouTube channel to show you the progress on this project so far. And also, if you'll notice at the bottom of this video, there's a link to my blog, which will have a more detailed explanation of what I'm doing. I'm in my little unheated greenhouse this morning. I haven't started any plants out here. They were all started in the house under the lights in my light garden, but I bring them out here to harden off before they go in the garden. We've had no sunshine, so it isn't even getting that warm in here in the daytime, but our nights are down 10 degrees or so, 50 degrees or so Fahrenheit, a little warmer some of these nights, but anyway, that's getting them more accustomed to our outdoors temperatures so I can put them in the garden. These plants on the corner here are the corn seedlings, a variety of short season corn, grown more for this particular climate. And I started the corn in the house because I want it to be already a foot or two high when the beans start coming up, so they'll have something to climb up. So that was the idea there. My plan is for 10 hills, so I'll need 10 corn plants, 10 squash plants, and some bean seeds for each hill. The other things here you've, I guess, seen me talk about in my previous video, although I guess since then I've brought the tomato plants out. I have 4 different varieties of tomatoes there, and one more in the house that's still too small to bring outdoors, but I'll do more on those in a later video and show you more about those and who gave me the seeds and how they're doing. All of them are doing quite well, actually. This is the bed where I intend to grow my permaculture Three Sisters garden. As you can see, it's already coming up heavily with weeds. I grew squash in it last year, not with any great success. I think the soil really needed to be amended, so last fall, you can see on the surface there, I added quite a bit of seaweed. And what I plan to do in another couple of weeks or so when things are ready to transplant outside is to make 10 mounds. Each mound I'll add at least a sack of the commercial composted manure and a good quantity of my own compost, and mix that into the soil and make a mound. But whatever's growing around it, I'm just going to leave as is. There are a number of plants here that have escaped from my garden via seeds. This one in here that's Rose Campion. Didn't know it was there last summer, but it's a biennial at least. Sometimes it's perennial, but usually it's biennial, so that will probably bloom this year. I'll leave that. And this is a foxglove. None of these things I planted here myself. It's just the wind has blown the seeds over here. That looks to me like a second-year plant, so that might bloom this year too. And there are a lot of these. They are verbascum, wild mullein. I brought them here to the property a number of years ago. A friend of mine who used to live on Campobello, her father from the Fredericton area, brought them to Campobello. They're a native wild flower, but we never had them on Campobello until he brought them here. And now they're all over my property too. I like them. They stand 10, 12 feet tall with yellow blossoms. I'll leave most of those except some places where I may have to take them out when I'm putting in a mound. But anyway, that gives you an idea of the space. It's too big to do square foot gardening, and I've had it prior to my square foot gardens. It's, I don't know, it's at least 10 feet wide and 20 feet long, something like that. So you really can't reach out into the middle of it to work from any area. You have to step into it. It was a mistake unless I was going to put a walkway down the center, which I've never done. Maybe that's a future project sometime. But anyway, this year this is going to be my Native North American um, Three Sisters garden in a sort of permaculture manner. So stay tuned for future updates. How well that shows up, and I'm just about ready to leave here, and I noticed there's also a garlic plant growing here. I think I had garlic in here 3 or 4 years ago, so evidently there's been one clove left behind that's been probably coming up every year. I just didn't notice it, so I'll be careful to go out around that too and leave that to grow in a permaculture manner.